Okay, we've got crude oil part 3 now, so we've gone from fractional distillation, where we separated it, because they've got different boiling points, and we're able to do that. When we've got the long chains that weren't so useful, we cracked them in cracking. And now what we're going to do is we're going to polymerization, because we were left with some alkenes that I said I would happily throw in the bin. However, if I was Mr. Factory Owner or Mr. Crude Oil Man, I wouldn't want to throw it in the bin. I want to get all the money's worth I can. So I'm left with this alkene. Now, these alkenes, we can use them in what's called polymerization, and we can make polymers. Now, most things around you are made of polymers, even your blazers, this board, all kinds of stuff are made of polymers, so they're actually really, really useful. Now, the alkene that we use, like this is ethene. This has got a name for it, it's a monomer. Okay, mono meaning one, okay? If we apply heat and pressure, what happens is that double bond flips open, like that. Everything else stays the same, and it joins up with another one that was next to it. So you would have hundreds of these things, and they all start joining up together just because of the heat and the pressure that you apply. Okay? Now, I could carry on drawing this, carry on drawing it, and keep linking them all up, but that would take ages. So what I do is I drew some square brackets around it, like this. I'll get rid of that, because we don't need that anymore. Square brackets around it, and I put an N there. Now the N just means big number, okay? So we've got N amount of these, a large number of these, N big number. Now notice that these bonds go through the brackets. That's really, really important. And everything else is inside is exactly the same. Now this is no longer, because there's not just one of these things anymore. It's not a monomer, it's called a polymer, meaning many. Poly means many. Okay? So, for example, another one would be, it might look like this. So that could be our monomer. If we apply the heat and the pressure, that double bond flips open. So now go to a single bond, the bonds either side. Remember, your brackets around so that they cross through. Everything inside is exactly the same as this one. Okay, so that's my monomer. And that's my polymer. Now, quite often we're asked to name monomers and polymers. Okay, and the way in which we do this is, if I've got a monomer and it's called ethene, my polymer is called polyethene. If I've got a polymer called polystyrene, poly, my monomer, I just take the poly off it, would be styrene. Now, we make all of these things. We're using crude oil to make them. Crude oil takes millions of years to form. The problem with all these polymers that we make is that they don't break down, okay? They take thousands of years to break down. So what we need to do is we need to dispose of them. So when you put your stuff into the rubbish bin, if you finish with your water bottles or your carrier bags, you put it into the rubbish bin. If you finished with your cups or anything, or your blazers, we put them into the rubbish bin. If it goes straight into our black bins, so if we're looking at disposal, if it goes into our black bins, it goes to landfill. Now, landfill is really, really cheap. It's quick, but you are wasting valuable resources, because this took millions of years for us to get to this point. So you are wasting valuable resources. Valuable resources. Another way we can get rid of it is by incinerating it. That means burning it. So incineration. So in incineration, that's quick, it's cheap. We can also use the heat that's produced to make electricity. But again, we're going to be wasting valuable resources. Also, not only are we wasting valuable resources, we are producing toxic gases. Okay, final way. The final way of disposing is by recycling. Now, recycling is a good way because we're not wasting valuable resources. So not wasting resources, and it also creates jobs. But it's expensive because you're having to pay people to sort the plastics. So it's expensive because you're paying people. It's also expensive because there is another reason. It's expensive because you're creating job, and it's expensive because you still need to pick it up. And when you pick it up in vans and lorries and everything like that, those lorries, those vans use petrol, which is crude oil. So now what you're doing is you are burning more crude oil to go and pick up the recycling. So that means is the diesel that's being used creates carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. So there are advantages and disadvantages to all of these things. You need to know both the advantages and disadvantages.